Nurse Ellen was known for her gentle touch and her ability to comfort even the most distressed patients. It began with a faint whisper that Ellen heard while doing her night rounds in the hospital. "Ellen, you can't save them," it said. She looked around, but the hallway was empty. She tried to ignore it, but the voice persisted, growing louder each night. Ellen began to feel a cold presence in the hospital, especially in the rooms of terminal patients. The whispers continued, casting doubt on her abilities. "You will lose them all," they taunted. Ellen became obsessed with her work, spending hours at the hospital barely sleeping. She started seeing ghostly figures of patients she had lost, their faces filled with accusation and pain. The whispers grew louder, haunting her every step. Years ago, Ellen had lost a patient due to a mistake in medication. The memory of that incident had always haunted her, but now it seemed to blend with her current fears, making her question her competence and her sanity. Desperate, Ellen confided in her colleagues and even talked to a counselor, but no one believed her. They suggested she was just overworked and needed a break. Her family worried about her state of mind, urging her to take some time off. The whispers became more insistent. "You cannot escape your guilt," they cried. Ellen started seeing the ghostly figures more frequently, their spectral forms following her everywhere. The cold presence became unbearable, chilling her to the bone. Her performance at work began to suffer. She became paranoid and jumpy, seeing ghostly figures in the shadows. She couldn't tell what was real and what was a figment of her tortured mind. She started doubting her sanity, wondering if she was truly losing her grip on reality. One night, as she was alone in the hospital, the whispers became a roar. "Join us, Ellen," they demanded. She saw the ghost of the patient she had lost due to the medication error, their face twisted in pain and fear. Ellen screamed, but no one heard her. Ellen ran out of the hospital, desperate to escape the voice and the ghosts. She drove recklessly, tears streaming down her face. She locked herself in her house and fell to her knees, begging for it to stop. Ellen realized that the hospital had a dark history, with multiple unexplained deaths and accidents to medical practitioners as well as patients. Investigations were inconclusive or simply stopped dead in their tracks with evidence disappearing. And she wasn't alone in her fear. There was something evil lurking in the wards, something that fed on the fear and suffering of its occupants. Ellen decided to gather other medical professionals who had experienced similar torment. They all confirmed very similar stories of the whispers and the ghosts, yet no one would dare admit to their torment or seek help. They felt their careers were on the line, and any reporting may diminish their standing with the hospital administration due to bad press and new reporters. They made a pact, for their careers' sake, to keep it secret. They had children to feed and bills to pay. They simply couldn't afford to have their whole lives come crashing down due to reporting incidents they could not prove. And so, they suffered. Each of them, until reports of one of them leaving home late at night and never returning, and another being found dead in their own bed with no signs of a struggle or inflicted wounds. What was happening? No one ever discovered the cause of death. The mortician simply classified the death as heart failure. The family was distraught without answers, and it remains that way to this very day. And you, dear listener, have you ever heard whispers in the silence of an empty room? Have you ever felt a cold presence that chills you to the bone? You're not alone in your fears. Keep your eyes open and beware of discussing too much. I fear they are listening. They may even retaliate. The dread. Join us on TikTok and YouTube for more chilling chronicles. If you dare,